Hello and welcome to the Best Bet Show, the three-man weave. Well, it's two-man weave today. It's just Matt and Kai hanging out. We got Jim, though, a nice, beautiful picture of him at his lake house. We visited him many moons ago, Matthew, up in Wisconsin, and
Ah, yes,
he drove
yes.
us around in his Phoenix Suns shirt. He's looking good. He's having a good time. Ironically, Jim is currently in Wisconsin now, gallivanting around doing who knows what. We gave him the day off. It's just Matt and Kai. We're going to have a lot of fun with this today. Uh, Welcome to those out there that are joining us. This is our Best Bet show. If you are familiar with the format, we're going to run down a slate of games, which is actually in the video description if you check it out on YouTube. I will chop it up afterwards and put the stamps in there for you. But obviously, for the 11 a.m. games, check out the rundown. If you're curious, ask questions, of course, in the chat mob.
Yes.
We will talk games for you, run down whatever you want to do within the next hour or so. Matt is diligently pinning all the games on the paper. He's got his beautiful FAU sweatshirt on. Actually, that's one of my main takeaways, Matthew. FAU surviving by the skin of their owl teeth. Goodness gracious, against Tulane.
Yeah.
Big sigh of relief for FAU there.
Life on the road, Mr. McKeon. That's what everyone's talking about on Twitter, college hoop
Mm-hmm.
Twitter sphere, and rightfully so. A lot of juicy home spots today. We'll be talking about that in the slate draft. Just a quick
Mm-hmm.
shout out to home court in general. Saw Duquesne last night against Dayton. Raucous home crowd. Santa Clara, Steve Nash night. Are you kidding me? Against Gonzaga. A great home crowd is untouchable in our pure and gracious sport. So please, if you're near a venue or team, go watch your team play. Like it actually matters. That's what's so like we've seen your presence actually makes a difference in the outcome. Like Indiana
Yes.
fans, like not a great basketball team, but last night in the friendly confines of Assembly Hall, just a different team. So that's my I guess my early morning cheers to great home court in a purist fashion.
Yes. If you're into trends, home court is doing very well right now in big spots. So maybe that continues. Maybe it doesn't. Another takeaway, real quick: Michigan is an absolute disaster. Holy cow! This Doug McDaniel thing.
Mm.
It dropped right after our podcast on Wednesday, but this program is a joke. Howard's gone. Okay, let's get into the rundown. Let's get into the show here. Starting off with Alabama at Mississippi State. SEC marquee matchup here, Matthew. Mississippi State, last time I checked, -2. Pretty much been that way, I think, since open. Maybe he's -1 to start off with. Bama needs quality wins. Oregon on a neutral is the only one that really might be a Q1 win at the end of the day. Mississippi State looks pretty darn good with Tolu Smith in the lineup. He's a star. Took down Tennessee. Your thoughts?
I do like the home Bulldogs here, Kai. They were swept last season 3-3 Alabama against Mississippi State, but the defense last year leaps and bounds better than what we've seen this year from Alabama. And I believe they're a little bit banged up in the front court today. They've played well in spots, but it's a Bama front court that's more bouncy and athletic, and it's not physical. I think that's where Tolu Smith, who looked like himself last game for the first time, I would say. I think you get another repeat hope hype home effort, excuse me, as you saw against the Volunteers on, was it Wednesday or Tuesday?
Mm.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State gets another straight big win today. So -2. One of these home court spots, I think's been, what can we say, over bet. I like, should Mississippi State really be favored in this game? Should A&M be favored against Kentucky? We'll get to that later in the show, but I still lean Mississippi State here.
I know Nate Oates is worried about Smith himself with no Wagi maybe in the lineup today for Alabama. Obviously, that's a huge deal for the inside game of Tolu Smith, Mississippi State in general. But I don't know if Mississippi State can stop Alabama's offense, right? The 3-point line, obviously key in every single Alabama game. Mississippi State, though, they kind of force teams to beat them over the top. Obviously, Chris Jans, pretty smart guy, pretty good coach. He clearly might tweak his defense a little bit, extend more pressure. But we've seen Mississippi State's 3-point percentage defense regression happen a bit in conference play. It could even more so today. I agree, though. It kind of seems like Mississippi State's game. I lean their way at home. Nothing strong. To the SEC, we stay with Kentucky and Texas A&M. Matt, you just alluded to it. A&M up to a 3-point favorite. We saw a similar move against Florida for Kentucky. Kentucky having money come in against them on the road. They beat Florida. Impressive win. I hopped in against Florida. I don't know about A&M, though. I think A&M is a much better team than Florida. Your thoughts?
I that's precisely my entire handicap here. Look at what we've learned about Auburn, or sorry, Texas A&M and Kentucky. I'm sorry, Texas A&M and Florida, right? Florida looked horrendous in their follow-up to that home hype spot against Kentucky. A&M had Auburn down late in that game. They ended up really faltering late, like didn't score for the final 3 minutes. Auburn wins by 11. I think a very misleading cover margin there in that game, just margin in general. I know A&M has not made any shots at all in conference play, right? Like just looked
Yeah.
terrible at home against LSU. Yeah, I'm on A&M here, so I don't want to see a deja vu of that game last weekend, but I do think they are just overdue to make some shots. Tyrese Radford healthier, not a great shooter by any means, but he at least is a piece there. I think the experience and toughness of A&M kind of not bullies Kentucky, but I think the age here, this will feel more like men versus boys, even though Kentucky has like superstar talent, obviously. I like the Aggies here, Kyle.
To your point, 0.774 points per possession in two SEC games, Texas A&M. The worst three-point percentage, 17%. The worst two-point percentage, 34%. You can't get much worse than that. Kentucky's not a great defensive team, really, despite their athleticism. Someone in the chat mentioned their totals have been soaring over. Yeah, that's a combination of pace and, frankly, their defense and their offense, of course, being great. I think it's a good bounce-back opportunity for A&M offensively. Obviously, they have the physicality to show on the defensive end. It needs to show up. Wade Taylor needs to be the veteran bully guard against the talented freshman here. I just think three's a bit high. I lean towards A&M winning the game. I liked them at pick or -1, but with the steam, three, nothing for me on the Aggies here.
Yep, I think you're paying a premium, and like I think there's 4 marquee home games today where I think you're just paying a little too much for the all these kind of short favorites should be closer to pick, I think, theoretically. But I mean, who
Yes,
knows?
they are. The market is hitting the home hype spots. We'll say again, it's been a trend they've been hitting lately. That's probably one of the strong reasons why. All right, San Diego State, New Mexico is where we're going next. Mountain West battle. Again, the home team taking money here. New Mexico up to 4 in a lot of places. Obviously, Matt, a very huge spot at the pit. It's also one of the best home court advantages in the country. Number 7 per KenPom in his home court advantage rankings. New Mexico 1-2 in Mountain West play. They need a win here. San Diego State's been excellent all season. Weirdly, though, weird matchup point. San Diego State beat New Mexico at the pit last year, and then New Mexico beat them at Viejas. Huh. Interesting. What do you think?
It as a an enthusiastic Lobos backer here, Kai. Again, I don't like paying the price I'm paying for this bet here, but I just the spot's too good. This will be like maybe the best home crowd we see today. Odd to have it as like an early matinee start. I think it's 2 p.m. local or something. So it's just, but still, it's going to be CBS. It's like many eyeballs will be on this game. I'm still worried about like the whole Jamal Mashburn reintegration hasn't gone great. Lost 2 of 3, but those were at Colorado State, at UNLV, who's just been a monster at home. We've seen them. They basically beat Creighton in a quasi home. So, I mean, that's just a different team on their home floor. I still think this Lobos team is really good, even though I don't love the timing of the Jamal Mashburn perimeter reshuffle. I also worry about the boards in this game. Jaden Ledee is somehow under discussed, just like how dominant he's been this year. Absolute monster up front, and New Mexico's interior D has been, I would say, suspect. That's my concern still. I'm betting the spot here. Again, paying a premium for it, but I did bet it small.
Yeah, is Mashburn a hindrance to New Mexico? It's kind of a weird question, but if not for a lucky cover at the end against Wyoming, they're 0-3 against the spread with him back in the lineup. There's one basketball. There's 3 alpha guards. There's one basketball for New Mexico. Maybe it's kind of upset the apple cart a bit. Obviously, a really talented player, but chemistry, flow, rotation, lineup fit, it all goes into college basketball. I agree. The glass, that's important. Ledee, he's a beast, number 3 player of the year in KenPom. He fell behind Filipowski recently. But the Lobos have size. They have Nelly Jr. Joseph up front. They need to limit fouls. They've been fouling a lot in conference play. San Diego State really takes advantage of that, but maybe some home cooking at the pit. We love home cooking. I'm actually for home cooking. I like the advantage.
I love it too.
I love it
too. And it's real. You can see some of these home calls late. It's just like that is like the Memphis UTSA, the call on the ball screen that UTSA had a chance. Like that's just a screen. We can't be calling that zebra. But again, own it, embrace it. Well done, Memphis fans. You win.
Yeah. Conclusion: 4 is too high, despite the spot. 3.
Yeah, 4. Maybe. I think at 4, it's like, I mean, you can talk
high.
yourself into an Aztec bet, right? Like that's just insane. Are these two teams really equals? like tough to justify at this point. I don't know.
I don't think so. No. All right. Big 12 country. Here we come. A lot of good Big 12 games today. Oh, my goodness. Oklahoma at Kansas. Hey, speaking of home cooking, no team in the country gets it more than KU, and that's been decades. Decades. Come at me, Kansas fans. KU up to -7. Kimpom has this 4, and we knew bookmakers were not going to give us 4. Kansas obviously coming off a recent loss, not their normal Bill Self. Haha, good pun there.
Nice.
They're 5-9 against the spread. They're 19th in Kimpom. They should be 0-2 in the Big 12 if not for that TCU flagrant foul. Your thoughts, Matt, on this game?
Yeah, market likes Kansas. I guess I understand the angle. But like this team hasn't covered margin all season. Like and it's 7-8 against Oklahoma. They basically almost won at Fog last year. I know they haven't won there in like 30 years or something. Jordan Majeski pointed out, but like they were very competitive last season at the Fog. I've said it, like the last couple of years, like Kansas at the Fog against the number has not been like, I think the home court's a little bit overinflated, and just the way this team's constructed, like they have 4 players basically. It's the game will generally, I think, trend to a close 2-3 possession game for KU for most of the Big 12. I just don't see them like blowing out anybody, to be honest. I'd like 8. Can I get 8? If I see an 8 out there, I'll be hopping on Boomer sooner.
Yeah.
But at 7's like, eh.
I'm even at 7, I'm kind of leaning OU, but
Yeah, I agree.
Oklahoma's been a bit of a different team, right, away from their home floor, which is great. Obviously, a lot of Big 12 home courts are great. 0-2 now, straight up and against the spread away from home. Only played 2 games, small sample size. Nobody on Oklahoma can handle Hunter Dickinson. There was talk that he might be a little bit banged up, but he kind of poo-pooed that. I think he's fine. There's no worry there. At Porter Moser, a master game planner. I obviously I think he has a plan for Dickinson, but you mentioned it. KU has the best 4 players on the floor. Oklahoma probably has the next best 6.
Yeah, right.
That's KU's depth right now. Transition is the key. KU thrives in it. Oklahoma among the best in the country at stopping it. So it's going to be kind of a battle between transition teams. You're going to see that a couple times in this outline. Actually, it's a funny matchup configuration we have today. But I do expect a locked-in Kansas squad against a relatively young Oklahoma backcourt, right? Playing at Fog Allen.
Yep.
Big spot for them. I just think 7's too much to lay. Can't do it.
Jim did point out that Johnny Furphy, the Aussie, will be starting officially. I guess self-announced that. So, man, I was an El Marco Jackson believer preseason. He just hasn't been haven't made shots.
Yeah,
and he's trying to ball a little too much. So he's not been very good.
Not at all. All right, Matt. Let's see what you got for Chat Mob Part 1. There's a lot of stuff coming through. Good chat today. Love the chat. Fiery.
I apologize. No time for organization at all, Kai. We're just going to kind of bounce around the old country today. Pat in the chat leads us off with Davidson, George Washington. Kai, I've had trouble pegging both of these teams, to be honest. I was upset with my Davidson bet last outing against Rhode Island. Rhode Island's just really good, I guess. So that's a whole other conversation. Who do you like here? Revs, the newly minted Revs against Wildcats at home. Lane 2, George Washington.
Yeah, I actually lean towards Davidson. I've been really impressed by this team. They got Skogman back last game, Davidson, who many call him their most important player, which is wild to me. That's not who I expected in the preseason. No disrespect towards Washington. I just like this Davidson team. I think they're a bit better. I lean their way.
I think I agree. Fascinating schematic matchup there. Definitely 2 polar opposites. Kai, how about Syracuse against North Carolina? Raise up. It's a big number, but I bit and was hooked by Syracuse at Duke. I think I was catching 14. So now they're catching 12 at the Tar Heels. 13, I think it's I don't like it. I have no action here. Your thoughts?
I am done fading UNC. They're just really good. Also, yes, pointed out in the chat here, they are due for regression. Teams are shooting horribly against them. They are really talented. They are a good team, but they're not that good defensively. They're due for some regression. I can see Syracuse hanging with them for 30 minutes, and then what has UNC done all season? They've pulled away in the last 10, and Syracuse
what has Syracuse done? Yeah, they've done the exact
10. So
the old launch here fold.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable betting Syracuse. I wouldn't lay 13 with UNC though.
I'm with you there, Kyle. Let's talk Louisville basketball. one of those coveted programs having a
Awful win.
stellar season. Awful win. Are they hot? Market seems to think no. They bet it up to -7.5. Road favorite are the Wolfpack. I have no take here. Do you?
I'm not back in Louisville ever, so lean NC State. Hey, NC State, not bad start to the season right now. They're near the top of the ACC standings.
Yep.
I was impressed by the win against Virginia. I lean NC State. That's just a Louisville fade.
Hi, can Hofstra blow out Campbell? I sure hope not. I am a Camelbacker today, but the Pride are laying 8.5 here and the Coastal Showdown.
Yeah, I think it's a little too high. Actually, it's up to 9.5 now, Matt. I think it's too high. Reason? I think it's gonna be a really low possession game. Yeah,
Yes,
I think it's gonna
Camels.
be a Campbell takes the air out of the ball. They make it a slog. Not confident. Hofstra's way better. It's never fun
Way
taking
more
the ugly,
talented. No
the,
question.
the
Talent's
ugly
actually
dogs.
pretty huge here. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my concern. I think if Campbell's schematic bag of tricks doesn't work here, it could get ugly.
Yeah.
So I may be regretting this take, but I
Lean
do bet the
Campbell.
Camels.
Yep.
Full transparency.
That's really high.
Will Jones, Wake versus Virginia. Wake is hosting Virginia here, and it's just a tale of two different teams heading in different directions right now. -6 does feel high.
Way too high.
You think yeah, no, you're more of a Who believer. I'm out on the Who's. So if you're still a believer in this Who's, I don't know, ACC title potential type team, I think you take 6 here.
I don't know if I'm a necessarily believer, but 6 points against Wake, Virginia, Tony Bennett, no way.
Wake's been-
From that lens alone, it's like, come on. You can see this being a game Virginia bounces back. Look, current form, Wake Forest is much better, but I think Virginia is the better bet here.
I mean, Wake's hot, but they just lost to Florida State and they lost to or they went to overtime with Miami at home.
They're not a good defensive team, really bad defensive team.
Yeah, maybe the Wake. I'm with you on the Wake hype, maybe going a bit overboard and how hot they got with Upton Reed back. But still, we love Steve Forbes, so it's not a team I want to fade either. Kai, how about Wisconsin Northwestern? Some money coming in on the purple Kitty Cats, down to 7.5 up there in Madison. Buzzcut Badgers are really good. I've accepted that.
They are really good. They're really, really, really good. I think they're number. No, you know what? Illinois. That's kind of tough. Top 3 in the Big Ten, we'll say, for Wisconsin. It's a big number for Northwestern. They're a tough dog, man. Now they're a better dog at home, obviously. They're inconsistent. Their defense, for some reason, has been terrible this year. They're like the worst defense in the Big Ten. I lean towards the Wildcats, though. I think 8 is a bit too much.
It is, but bet against Big Ten home courts at your own peril. That's all I'll say there. From Brand Deming, Utah State at UNLV, Kai. Another one of these home spots. A true home dog, though, in this case. The road Aggies are actually laying 2. I like my Rebs here. I did take it. I don't love the glass at all. Like, this could be a game where Utah State could get 25, 30 offensive rebounds. UNLV's had, they have the Boom Bros are good up front, but they're not like bangers. They can get scored on. That's my concern.
I almost took UNLV, and then the no Isaiah Cottrell, the no Jalen Hill. It is Boone and Boone, and that's it. Great Osabor is going to destroy them inside. However, UNLV is a good team. I think they should be favored. Slightly, maybe like -1. So I do lean their way towards the Rebs.
Hi, we stay out west. Northridge laying 4 to Cal State Fullerton. Felt low, in my humble opinion, given how the Doors are playing under Mr. Andy Newman. I have no action here, though. Do you?
No, I don't. I haven't been able to really get Fullerton right the entire season. And they're a scary team to fade in the Big West because they've played so well in this conference the last several years, despite not great non-conference play. They're going to get better and better as the season goes on. I bet they do pretty well in the Big West tournament because that's what Taylor does every single season. But, man, fading the Matadors right now, no thanks. They're off a loss, too. This is a good team, well coached by Andy Newman.
We stay on the West Coast, Mr. McKeon. Santa Clara off of the monster win. Adama Alpha Ballin out there for my Bronx. Stand up, Rough Riders. St. Mary's laying 6. Market loves the Gales in basically a NorCal battle here. I kind of like it just on the spot alone. I don't know, though. Claire's good, man.
Claire's really good. We backed them against Gonzaga. I don't know about St. Mary's, though. I think that was their home run spot, Santa Clara. I think St. Mary's gets them here. Lean their way, -6 on the road. Love both teams, but I think it's a better spot for St. Mary's.
All right, let's get a two-pack here. Maybe get back to the outline. I got a lot of questions. I don't know. From Coop Star, Kai, your Missouri Tigers
Oh boy.
are in action today. They're playing the Fighting Lamont Paris of South Carolina, who's been nice this year, but coming
Oh
off a pretty
man.
massive demolition at the hands of Alabama. Do you like the Tigers laying 3?
No,
Hmm.
I can't believe Mizzou's taking
Hmm.
money. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
I'm gonna probably bet South Carolina +3. I'm sorry. Look, guys, as a Mizzou alumni and fan, obviously I'm biased. I've
Ooh.
backed this team a few times. They're really bad. The rotations are horrible. Gates has not
Yeah,
figured it out
agreed.
yet. We have 4 good players max. I don't think it's
Like
going to be good.
if Sean East is not balling, like I don't know where Mizzou turns in this game. I really
Yeah,
don't.
just not a good team right now.
Semi breaking news: Isaiah Cottrell will be available for UNLV today. I think that
Oh,
matters.
that is
He said it's
important.
gonna be helpful.
That
Sure,
would
he'll play 8 minutes, and this will
yeah,
be a complete waste of airspace. But yeah, they need some size. I like the Rebs a lot. I like that
that's
spot too
enormous.
much.
That's enormous for their depth up front. Yep.
Kai, I know we love the Summit. Really fun league to handicap. Results always make so much sense.
Yeah.
Oral Roberts is hosting St. Thomas off a tough home loss to the Jack Bunnies. We like St. Thomas, but on the road,
Mhm.
they're catching 3. I'm a little bit enticed to take the Tommies there at
A
3.
little bit. I think Oral Roberts is figuring it out though. Deshaun Weaver was out for a bit. He's back in the
Been back.
lineup.
Yep.
A good home court. I think it was going to take time for Springman to kind of get the team under his
Agreed.
umbrella, right, and kind of take hold of it. He's been an assistant for years under Paul Mills, but it was going to take some time. I think he's more confident now. This team is really talented, Oral Roberts. I
It's
thought
this.
they were going to
Yeah,
be
I agree.
right at the top. Isaac McBride is
Yeah, he could be
arguably
an
the best
alpha.
player in the league.
Yeah, he's not like Asmus, but he's pretty damn close in that
Yeah.
league. And everyone else in this team's back basically, except for Mr. Vanover, who has been an absolute nothing burger for you. I'm sorry, I had a bad read on that one. Kai, let's go
Yeah,
back
we
to
know
the
Roberts.
outline. I'm going to go heavy, quick, rapid fire to close out the remainder of the batch. Go.
All right, here we go. Back to the outline. Let me pull the outline up. Houston against TCU. Ah, what a battle, man. Bruiser ball. TCU has started stellar in the Big 12. 2 really solid efforts. They should have beaten KU. They handled Oklahoma. But Houston's a scary team, man. They got down 14-0 to Iowa State at Hilton and still almost beat them. In my opinion, Matt, this is a nightmare matchup for TCU.
Yep.
Houston's laying 3.5, 4 on the road. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's TCU at home though, and Houston has looked vulnerable in their only 2 true road tests. Right, talked about the Xavier game and obviously Iowa State. I don't know. Jordan Majeski pointed out the matchup similarities between TCU and Iowa State. I thought that was very astute. So Houston kind of has to, in some ways, re-prepare and make adjustments from the game they just lost. It's probably a good thing if you're Kellen Sampson. I think Houston wins this game. I don't know if I'm willing to lay 4 though. Maybe I should be, but that's my lean.
Kimpom's got this 7, by the way, which
Yeah.
is too high. TCU can't shoot, man. You have to get to the bucket and score inside the arc if you're TCU, and Houston's a bear trap. They're number 1 in the country, 2-point percentage defense. They don't allow shots at the rim. I think they're top 3 in preventing shots even at the rim, like attempts.
Yep.
The transition battle we talked about a couple games ago. This is fascinating, right? Percentage, nobody in the country uses more possessions in transition than TCU. Percentage also, only 4 teams in the country allow less transition opportunities than Houston.
Yep.
It is just strength for strength. I think the Cougs are too tough here. They're not going to care. We differ on opinion. I don't think they care about the road environment. TCU's not Iowa State road environment. I lean towards Houston here. Are you good? Next one.
I'm good. No, yeah. Let's continue. I have nothing to say.
Cincinnati
Farther.
at Baylor. Yeah, we're staying in the Big 12 because, like I said, there's so many good battles today in the best conference in America. Baylor laying 6.5, 2-0 in the league. Cincinnati 1-1 with a huge win at BYU. Break it down.
Man, Cincy on the road, maybe just a better team. I don't know. I was kind of starting to give up on this Cincy team. Just felt like they had some opportunities to prove something and they just didn't in big spots. But with Mr. Bendago back in the mix, just a game changer up front. Baylor with their emergence of Misi, both are having kind of Renaissance big men stepped up with more perimeter oriented type of teams. I guess I kind of lean Baylor at home at the current number. I just don't trust either one of these teams right now. I think they're both too volatile for me to back with confidence.
Major stylistic edge, I think, for Baylor offensively, the pick and roll. They use more ball screens than any team in the country. Cincinnati has not been able to stop that action this year. 296th in points per possession allowed to ball handlers coming off pick and rolls. Synergy stat. I'm synergy guy today. The Ray J. Dennis matchup will be interesting. Who do you put
Yes.
on him? Do you put Newman on him? Lukosius, avoid the bully ball, that the post ups that Dennis is known for. Baylor's this far superior offensive team. They're also a really good rebounding team. And against Cincinnati, who relies on the glass a lot to score when Lukosius isn't hitting shots out of his butt like he did against Texas late in the game, I think it's Baylor here. I like Baylor at -6.5.
Yeah, if they can rebound, they'll be fine. That's the key. Got a board.
Next game on the rundown, the Big East. Here we come. St. John's at Creighton. Creighton laying 7.5. Feels high on the surface, but man, my initial thought was if Creighton can take care of the ball, I think they cover pretty easily. Your thoughts?
I think I agree. It's actually some money I'm seeing on St. John's.
Coming back.
6.5 now.
Oh,
So
okay.
it did feel big. Like I do think St. John's is very
Feels
good.
big.
I know it's kind of a better spot for Creighton at home, but like Creighton hasn't really. There's been opportunities for Creighton to blow out good teams at home. They really haven't. I mean, like Providence, like they weren't emphatically in control of that game, in my opinion. And St. John's is better right now than Providence, right? It's the same spot. The number is not even that different. I'd stay away here. I sort of see the temptation to back Creighton the spot, the sort of cross country trip. I don't know though. I'd stay away.
If allowed to execute in the half court, the Jays are going to slice and dice the Johnny's defense. It's just a so-so defense. The proficient post ups, driving kick. It's a very hard offense to stop. Third in the country in effective field goal percentage. St. John's is athletic and physical, but I don't think Soriano holds a major edge at all against Kalkbrenner. He's had good games against them in the past, but so has Kalkbrenner. And Creighton's defensive rebounding, it's among the best in the country. It's very hard to score inside against them and get second chance opportunities. And the Johnnies have struggled with droughts this season offensively. They did against Providence. I can see them doing it once again here. The spread definitely feels high, but again, if Creighton takes care of the ball, a bit of an if. St. John's can really get into you and force turnovers. I think it's going to be more death by 1,000 paper cuts here over the length of the game. Lean towards Creighton. 6.5 now. 6. Okay. Yeah. Money coming in.
How about your boy Brady Dunlap? Just raining threes. Comes out of nowhere
Solid.
and now is a full-time starter for the St. Johnny's team. Wow.
He's a specialist. They need him because they really can't shoot outside of him for the most part. Okay. Next game on the rundown, Pac-12 country. Arizona at Washington State. My opinion, Matt, has not changed. Arizona is the best team in the country. They just beat Colorado by 37. They just beat Utah by 19. Wazoo's tough, but not at this level. They're 2-7 against the spread against the KenPom top 160 this season. They have not stepped up very well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like them at home though. I mean, they played well against, I guess, well enough to win against Boise. They covered that game. I guess that wasn't a true home game, but still, like they haven't been good at covering margin. But I do think in this kind of dog type spot, I'm enticed by the Cougars. I'll be honest. Like Arizona is pretty damn near bulletproof, but there have been some leaky issues with their perimeter defense. And I'm just such a big Miles Rice fan. I think he's like such a good wiggler through traffic. He can make tough shots. I think he actually had a huge game here at home. And in the Coug bigs are big enough to at least keep it honest up front, right? The Arizona's front line's a different beast. I get that, but the Cougs have size for sure. So I think I give the punchers chance to the Cougs here at home in the home dog spot.
I just think you need Miles Rice to go off. Otherwise, path to points is grim.
What else do you have?
You can't score inside against Arizona. It's really hard to get to the line against them too, and that's when Washington State's kind of reliance offensively. Washington State's good defensive team in transition, but Zona arguably the best transition team in the country. They have not seen a beast like this. I don't have a strong take at the current price. It's like 9. Laying 9 on the road in general in conference play is tough. Washington State, you mentioned, they're not incompetent, right? But I cannot fade Arizona. Yeah. No thanks. All right.
Jalen Wells, Kai, the D2 stud
it's been
transfer.
Great.
He's been kind of really good. Yeah, so he could be an X factor day too for the Cougs.
Matt, Chat Mob Part 2, basically hitting whatever else is out there.
Buckle up.
Let's do it. Let's buckle up.
2 from Ethan, must be a Sunbelt fanatic. He's asking about Western Carolina at Mercer, Appalachian Appetizer State, as we call them, at JMU. Now up to 6.5. I'll take the JMU one. I wanted JMU at 5. It was sitting at 5 last night. They took some money. They took some more money. I agree with the market here. It's too high. I'm not going to give App State, giving App State 7 seems pretty, I don't know. It seems been really feisty all season, but I do think JMU, this is their game at home. I think they cover this.
Yeah, and then the Mercer Western Carolina game, man, I made a mistake of watching Mercer. They're not good. they are not a good team. And Western Carolina, they can't be riding any higher. Now, I could argue that's not a good spot to back them, right? With peak value playing against Mercer's been a little bit better in the last couple games, but I would lean towards Western Carolina, straightforward in that game.
I do too. I think it's just a trust better team. I agree with
Trust
that.
better team in that one.
Space Ace, Towson at Northeastern. I'm kind of buying Bill Cohen and the boys right now with Lucas Sakota back balling. Towson's been rock solid all year, though. Your thoughts?
Sakota is incredibly important for Northeastern. He came back last game. They beat Hofstra, but that just tells you. I don't think they covered a game without him in the lineup. So he's important. I liked the under in this game. It got slammed. I think Towson's really going to drag them in the mud. Spread-wise, I think it's about right, 2 or 3. No opinion there.
Stevie Mack, Rhode Island, as a home doggy against Massachusetts. The Roadies, the Rams, were pretty good as a home doggy against St. Joe. Huge comeback. David Green back in the fold seems to have made a pretty big difference. Do you keep riding the Rams?
Yeah, famous last words, but I'm ready to fade UMass again. Matt Cross, he might not play today for UMass. He's their best player by a mile.
Huge.
By a mile. By a mile, by a mile, by a mile. They don't have a lot of depth. Their depth is freshmen. And Frank Martin is going to be forced to play those freshmen. Matt Cross, not only good offensively, he might be their best defender and best rebounder and best everything. He is important, and Rhode Island is a totally different team with David Green in the lineup, with Fuchs back. I think Rhode Island gets it done here. I like them at +3, +3.5.
Agree. How about Virginia Tech, Kai? They are hosting, pardon me, they are hosting who? No?
They're
Miami, Florida. That's right,
yes.
the Canes. Yeah. Laying 3 here. I believe Hunter Couture got injured last game. What's his status? That's the one to watch here. I have no take in this game. Sorry.
I don't have one either. I really don't. I can't figure Virginia Tech out. I really can't figure Miami out either. They're both inconsistent teams, in my opinion. 2 teams I'm not looking to get involved with. So sorry, I don't have a take.
How about SEC Showdown? Ole Miss hosting Vandy. Second straight game we've seen the market back. Vandy, who is healthier, I guess, playing better.
It's gone towards Ole Miss.
It's up to, I saw it at 10. Was it at now?
10.5, 11.
Okay. So some two-way action here. I love to see that. I don't like backing Ole Miss as a large favorite, right? We've seen them basically play with their food against a ton of even worse non-con teams. They did just smoke Florida. I don't think they'd do that again today, though, against Vandy.
I lean Ole Miss. I think they're really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think they are too, but I don't know, man. Margin doesn't. Chris Beard is a favorite. I think historically has not been a great bet. I need to check the numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great laying double digits, but I lean their way if had to choose one.
Everybody likes some action. Kent State laying a touchdown, Kai, at Central Michigan, who is bad but played better.
Feisty. There's a few just feisty MAC teams, man. Central Michigan beat somebody on the road that was just shocking. Was it Wright State maybe on the road? Can't remember, but I don't know, man. I think Jim liked Kent State in this game. I'm staying away. Kent State defensively has been horrible since Hornbeek's been out of the lineup. I don't know if he's back or not. I'm staying away in this game.
Yeah, Kent State. Ball State. I took him. I faded Kent State in the next 2 games with the time to fade him. Eastern Michigan lost at overtime and then got smoked at home by the Rocket Ships. Who, man, I don't know that. I wouldn't bet against Toledo under any circumstance, like for the rest of time, to be honest. Kai, how about Tennessee, Georgia? Some more SEC. A lot of good SEC action today. Georgia's been hot. We know that. Mike White has been under the radar, doing some good work there. I kind of like them as a home dog, catching 7 against Tennessee. The Vols are really good. I don't like fading them. I'm kind of, every game I watch Tennessee, I start to see the upside more and more. But again, as a road favorite, I did definitely lean toward Yuga.
Yeah, Georgia won last game too, right? Or they're 2-0 in conference play.
Yes,
I'm not mistaken. A huge win.
Uga, not Yuga. Uga. I'm stupid. Sorry.
Uga. Yeah. It's high, but I kind of lean towards Tennessee. I think the spot's much better. Tennessee, man, they're a really tough team. I think they cause Georgia problems.
Kai, Colorado hosting USC, and I mean, just probably the most obvious bully bet spot on the board today. Market just pouncing on Colorado, healthier. Back
surprised not more, to be honest, though.
Yeah, I think this could be 12. It's 10 right now. I'd still bet Colorado at the stale number. USC now, Isaiah Collier, stud freshman, out. I almost think they that could be a net positive. I saw Metrics mention that he's just been so turnover
No.
prone. I think they need him though because their next
Who are
best
you gonna
option is like
play?
nobody. Right. I know. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough. They're a big uphill battle today for the Fighting Andy Enfields.
I mean, after I just did the Matt Cross thing, injuries are overrated. I bet you'd make money this season just fading injury plays, like
I would
taking the
agree
other
with that.
side. Honestly, the market moves too much. They can't. No one knows how to judge injury value, frankly. And in college basketball, a lot of times it just doesn't matter because next guy up. But I think Collier is really important. Plus, I just think Colorado is much better than USC right now. USC
Yeah,
has been
I agree.
horrible. Obviously, they're at altitude. Colorado's home floor is really good. I lean towards Colorado.
Believe USC won here last year, but new team this year. That was like a very old
Yeah,
veteran
not
team.
as good
This
of a team.
is a lot of
Yeah.
younger dudes in the mix. St. Joe's hosting Loyola, my Ramblers. Kai, I does feel a bit short, but I don't like
Mhm.
backing the Fighting Billies as a favorite. We've seen that go poorly a couple times this year at home.
I lean towards St. Joe's. I think it's their game. 0-2 in conference play. They have not played well, but we know the top gear of this team. The top gear of this team is almost beating Kentucky and
Yeah,
beating
they were up like
Villanova.
20 on SLU. They were up
Yes.
20 on Rhode Island. Yeah, beat Kentucky. It's a good team
Yeah.
when
I
they're
think it's
clicking.
a bit of a statement bounce back game for them. Lean towards St. Joe's.
Maybe first half St. Joe. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
they're much better in the first half.
How about Ohio U versus Western Michigan? Kind of go back to the MAC. Ohio taking some money, not 100%, but still healthy enough to
Mm-hmm.
garner some interest. Although some buyback looks like on Western Michigan's at 4 right now. The Buck and Broncos, B. Artist White, Javante Brown transferred from Texas A&M starting to ball a little bit. Who
Yeah.
knows?
At first I saw the spread at the opener. I was like, Ohio, boom, doing it. No. I look closer to Western Michigan. This team's different, man. With Javante Brown in the lineup, former Texas A&M UConn guy, he's been a stud for them. He's totally changed them. They're healthy. They've looked really impressive in MAC play. I would not feel comfortable. Ohio is something like 4-14 straight up on the road in their last 18 true road games. They do not travel very well for some reason.
Yep.
And this version of Ohio under Bowles, not his strongest by a long shot. They've been getting
Agreed.
smoked defensively this year. They've been fine offensively, but they've gotten smoked on the defensive end. They have no answer for Brown. I kind of lean towards Western Michigan. I like the over too in this game.
Yeah, over. I think there's a lot of points. Hopefully the pace plays in our favor. Kai Butler, Seton Hall from AB Sports here. Butler hosting the Pirates are laying 4. Felt short, but I do like Seton Hall a little more than Butler right now, so I did not touch this.
Butler. I'm going to keep on not believing Seton Hall's real, frankly. No offense to Seton Hall backers and fans out there. They're very well coached. But again, just watching this team, they don't pass the eye test of a really, really good team. And Butler at Hinkle, Butler's solid enough. I think they can cover 4.
I have seen Seton Hall at their worst, and I hated it. So that still have scarring images. But I mean, hard to ignore what they've done recently. Big MVC in the Valley showdown. Indiana State hosting Belmont. The Trees looking to get back in the winter column after a
Whew,
demolition at Drake. Belmont's been demolishing teams themselves. Malik Dia is a budding star. Man, it would be nice if Vanderbilt still had him this year. The Trees laying 11.5. It's big, big.
It's
number.
really big. Hey, good luck fading Indiana State at Indiana State. I won't be doing it. And Belmont, good team, better at home. No thanks.
Agree.
I'm not doing it. It's high, but I'm not fading Indiana State.
Speaking of good home teams, St. Bonaventure up there in upstate New York, laying 10 now. I see 10.5 at some places to the Fordham Rams. It felt big, but I don't know. Maybe Fordham's just not that good, and maybe St. Bonaventure is very good. So
I do think that's the case, but I think it's too high still. This Fordham team can drag anybody in the mud. They're extremely physical team. Yeah, 10's too much. I don't know. They might not score, but I think they can muck it up enough to make it a low enough possession game to where the Bonnies can't extend going into the final minutes.
For all the hype that Rose Hill gets as a gem for Fordham as like a strong home court, and I think it generally is. They've been way better away from home this year. Like
Rose Thrill,
as they call it. Thank you. Maddie B, Monmouth at at Charleston. Pat Kelsey laying big number to Red Hot Hawks and King Rice. Thoughts on this one?
Lean Charleston.
Do too.
Monmouth. I think Monmouth's good for the record. I think Xander Rice is a stud, but they seem to be flying a bit too high. This feels like a game Charleston can just pop them.
Agree. I think I got 11. It's up to 12 now. So I think Charleston's just cooking. Even though Monmouth is certainly too. Our last chat mob is our leaping off point to best bets because it's Jim's best bet. Kai, I'm going to debut Jim's best bet. I'll give you mine while you scour the board to select yours.
Thanks.
I've seen some market movement as we've been conducting live. Probably betting the Weaves team. It's a pretty common thing to do. The old Weaves team,
Yeah, right.
undefeated. But Nash asking about Merrimack and Lemoyne. Jimbo Fisher will be taking Merrimack as his best bet today.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of see the angle here. I'm not sure what his thoughts would be, but I'll give you mine in his favor. Just a good team in conference against a team that hasn't seen the zone in conference play yet, right? I think some of the
In a while.
in a while, it's right, because these are two former NEC 10
Yeah,
zone,
NE10, yeah.
conference affiliates, now both moved up to the D1 level. I think Merrimack's just a better team. So basically, you're tossing out home court. You're just playing the better team for a cheap price. I'm with them there.
It does feel extremely low, man. I think Lemoyne is way better than people give him credit for, though.
I'm with you on that too. Yes, I agree. So maybe me and you're on the,
They can shoot, too.
Lemoyne Island. They can shoot it. I think they're actually pretty well coached.
But it's Merrimack.
But it's Merrimack.
They dominate this conference, man. They really do. All right, what's your best bet, Matthew?
I'm going to give everyone a really bad number, but I did actually get some of this number myself, so I feel in good faith here. East Carolina 4.5, open 6.5. Just a juicy home dog spot, in my opinion. I know you don't agree with me, Kai. I apologize here, but
No.
I love Mikey. May the Schwartz be with you today. Team is improving. They have 2 point guards who can handle SMU's pressure. SMU has been almost perfect this year. Like, they have not played one bad game. I'm not saying they've been like a juggernaut, but they've been pretty damn near close relative to expectations. I just think it's a great spot here. Home dog, ECU should have a pretty good crowd. They've been better at home there the past few years. Again, their ability to handle the ball, handle SMU's pressure, make some shots would be nice. And I like the R. It's a Pirates life for me. Kai, your best bet is?
Let's go Colorado. Let's lay 9.5. Let's go Colorado. Shorthanded USC.
Bet. I like this.
Yeah. Colorado. Also, Colorado healthy, right? Cody Williams is back. DeSilva's back. This is a second game, fully healthy squad going against a team that's not healthy at all, in altitude at one of the best home courts in the country. I think it sets up nicely and hasn't moved very much since the opener. So I think there's still value there at 9.5.
Yeah, Colorado's defense looked very good, as Jim pointed out, I think, on Twitter. The Buffs D was guarding against Cal pretty heavily. Just got hot second half, the Bears did. They're a good team, the Buffs.
Indeed. Hey, thank you so much out there, fellas and ladies that have joined us today. Fantastic participation in the chat. A lot of views. Love it. Really appreciate it. Future of Best Bets here. Still trying to lock down sponsorship for a daily show starting in February. We're hoping we can do that. If not, we might go the Patreon route, but we're going to kind of survey the crowd there and see what the interest is in a Patreon monthly subscription to a daily Best Bet show that would maybe start a little bit earlier and all that good stuff. So that's still in the works. We apologize. We have not been able to bring that to you this season. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. But podcast, live podcast on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, same channel here. Catch us then. Next week, Saturday, Best Bets is on, 10 a.m. Central. Good luck with all your bets. Enjoy the extremely cold weather if you're in the Midwest or around there. And we will see you on Wednesday for the podcast.